Madam President, honourable members, nearly 5 years have passed since the military coup derailed Myanmar's journey toward peace and democracy. Since then, the country has been plunged into relentless conflict and millions continue to suffer. The humanitarian and security situation grows more alarming day by day, with escalating violence compounding the suffering of the Myanmar people. On 31st July 2025, the military regime dissolved the State Administration Council and rebranded itself as the State Security and Peace Commission, announcing phased so-called elections set to begin on 28 December this year. In the lead-up to this junta-organized so-called elections, our priority must remain an immediate end to violence and a firm commitment to inclusive, meaningful dialogue. While the Myanmar military regime has presented these so-called elections as part of its political roadmap, the context in which they are being held guarantees they will not in any way be genuine, free or fair. Myanmar continues to be plagued by widespread violence and severe restrictions on fundamental freedoms. They make it impossible for the people of Myanmar to express their will, to participate freely in the political process, and to exercise their basic rights. The environment in which these so-called elections or electoral preparation are taking place is not in any alignment with the international standards to which Myanmar has committed, nor does it reflect the aspiration of the people. The EU stands firm in its belief that any political process must be rooted in legitimacy and must reflect the true will of the people. High Representative Kallas made the point very clearly on the nature of the junta-sponsored elections and the lack of credibility of the electoral process when she participated in the last ASEAN Regional Forum in July 2025. Her message has been strongly reiterated by the EU Special Representative for Human Rights, Hadja Lahbib, when she co-chaired the EU-ASEAN Policy Dialogue on Human Rights in Kuala Lumpur in October. One of the most glaring issues is the exclusion of key political actors from these so-called elections. Prominent political parties, many significant popular support, are effectively barred from participating. This is a violation of their rights to be part of the democratic process. Elections held under such conditions, lacking basic credibility and popular support, risk intensifying instability and further entrenching division. Denouncing the irregularity and flawed process of the elections is not enough. Our assistance to the people of Myanmar must continue. We are gravely concerned by the continuing and widespread human rights violations in Myanmar. Humanitarian needs are dramatically increasing. More than 22 million people now require urgent assistance. More than 3.6 million are internally displaced, and the devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake of 28 March 2025 has further exacerbated their vulnerability. The humanitarian crisis in Myanmar is currently the third largest humanitarian crisis globally in terms of number of people in need, just after Sudan and Afghanistan. Myanmar is also the country with the highest number of landmine casualties in the world. Yet, the crisis remains one of the most invisible and underfunded in the world. We remain particularly worried about the situation in Arakan state, where hunger and malnutrition are reaching unprecedented levels. We strongly urge all parties, and particularly the Myanmar military to grant full, safe and unhindered access for humanitarian organizations. The Myanmar crisis has major regional fallouts. Bangladesh hosts over 1.2 million Rohingya refugees, and more continue to seek refuge from the escalating violence. In Bangladesh, Rohingya refugees remain almost fully dependent on humanitarian aid, and self-reliance options are severely limited by restrictive policies of the host country, causing concern over the sustainability of the humanitarian response in a changed funding landscape. An increasing number of people, furthermore, attempt dangerous sea and land journeys towards other countries of the region. Since 2021, the EU has committed 219 million to support the people of Myanmar, reaffirming our role as one of the leading international donors to this crisis. The EU is also a key donor in the response to the refugee crisis in Bangladesh and in the region. Honourable members, the international community has to work on a political solution. The EU supports the full and effective implementation of ASEAN's 5-point consensus. It offers the most credible framework to de-escalate the crisis and lay the foundation for a peaceful, inclusive and democratic future for Myanmar. We work closely with the ASEAN and UN envoys to make this a reality. We call on all groups opposing the coup to unite behind a common vision for Myanmar's future rooted in peace, democracy and the rule of law. The EU stands ready to support an inclusive dialogue, a necessary first step towards genuine political reconciliation. Thank you.